Good
We on?
evening. Good evening. We on,
Good
man. And
evening.
look, bruh, we squeeze it in. We definitely squeeze it in for another week. So I'm so happy to have you here, my brother, because I know our I want to say our schedules been crazy. So what's going
I
on,
mean,
man?
you ain't nothing, man. Getting ready for these holidays with the family, and getting ready to eat some of my daughter's good cooking, basically.
Your daughter cook good like that?
Man, you got to check my daughter Instagram page out. She went viral for one post, and you got to check her out, man. She the real deal,
Bro, that is
real
amazing.
deal.
That is amazing. I retired. I used to be cocky, right? I used to like saying how I'm cooking all these dishes. And one year I told my mom, sit back, I got you. I'm going to cook Thanksgiving dinner. Bro, I respect every mama, grandma, auntie that ever cooked Thanksgiving dinner because, bro, that is truly a labor of love, my man. That's ridiculous.
Man, I just I last year my daughter did it for us last year as well, and I'm just kind of I'm reminded of how my grandma would start doing that thing a day ahead of time, 2 days ahead of time, with all the getting the pre things together. And you know uh you and I were talking earlier, and we were talking about everybody going over to honey baked ham. Man, I remember, man, my grandma got that ham ready, you know what I'm saying, with the pineapples on top, the whole nine. Man, I smell it right now, you know what I mean. So it's when I think about the root of it all, and looking back, and just reminiscing over good times, basically, to say it makes me look forward to tomorrow for sure.
I think that's what the ministry and that was way back then. We didn't get it then, but grandma and mama always wanted everybody to come around and just fellowship together as a family. Bro, you get a little older, you
Yeah.
value those moments so much. I tell you, when it comes to this song, this Christmas, I don't know, I think it's Hail Mary, and one of them sang it. Bro, for years I would cry
Which
after
would
my grandma passed.
you like Chris Brown, or who you like on it?
No, I think it was Hail Mary. It's the old one. What was on that
Oh,
old
okay,
version? Bro,
okay.
I wasn't to listen because something about Christmas walking in. It's a memory I have of a certain Christmas we had, and I never forgot that, man. Never feel like I can go right there like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, man.
So you big on Christmas or Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, man. I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. I think Christmas has been
Me too.
commercialized, all about the gifts. It's overhyped, but Thanksgiving is simple. We're gonna cook. We're gonna sit around and eat. We're gonna talk about old days. We're gonna crack jokes. People gonna come and go. Yeah, man. I think everybody happy when their stomach's full.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I think everybody happy when their
Uh-oh.
stomach's full.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah. In any event, my bad.
You good? You ready?
I'm, I'm good. I'm rolling. I'm rolling.
All right, man. Listen, cause I trying to catch you, the busy schedule that you got, man. But we say we're gonna be more intentional because, bro, so many people have like so many. The last um, conversation that we had was the one where we was like, hey, however I word, the devil will bless you too, or make you think that you're being blessed, bro. You don't know how many people stopped me or wrote me about that.
Mm. Positive?
All absolutely positive because it seemed like people be wanting to speak on something, but I don't know, they don't have the courage to do it. But certain things we've touched on has made people go and have more dialogue about it. So that's what I loved about it because a lot of my brothers from the street were like, bro, I watched that and it shocked me because I'm like, well, I ain't see you in the thing. He's like, yeah, I
Mm.
was watching. So yeah, man, interesting.
Yeah, that's good. Good. It was a great dialogue, man. I enjoyed our conversation last week, and we definitely made a commitment to be more intentional so that we can, be a blessing to others, so to speak, and help somebody else somewhere.
Well, let me say this. We talked about how right when I wanted to walk away from doing podcasting, I was tired of doing all of this stuff. It's amazing that You know, me and you had a conversation and talked about what I saw, my vision for this thing was. And the first thing you said, let's do it. You didn't hesitate at all. And it's amazing just
Yeah.
from our conversations how to see different other opportunities open up. Mike Bless from Country Wayne segments, he's producing segments now. Me and him shot emails back and forth the other day. Chantel Renee, who is the girl with the yellow dress, I speak to her throughout the week. There are so many creators. Miss Monet,
Wow.
Miss Monet, who I'll post some of her stuff later on. It's just Erica Janice. So it's amazing how just when I want to walk away, God's like, nah, bro, boom, 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 put more on me. But I can see how it's branching out. And you said something like that, and I was like, bro, you know, one thing I can say, sometimes it ain't about me being blessed. I just have seen over time that I'm being used to create opportunities for other people or open doors
Yeah.
for that, you know, that's bigger than me. So I've always, once I
Yeah.
understood that, it kind of gave me some better understanding. I always tell people I'm the connect. You know, I might not get blessed, but I might do something that's going to affect so many other people. And I think that's the
Mhm.
amazing thing about this, because with your dialogue, I just look forward to the message. Like I listen to you all the time, so it's me sharing your message with other people, right? And when I do Super Friends for Black men, you know, sharing something that's not stereotypical. So I want to
Yeah.
thank you for that, man. And you tried to explain it to me the other day, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the baker and the? It was
Oh
something.
yeah. 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 Yeah, man. You know, again, I'm gonna give you a shout out again. And I try to, I'm always behind when you do when you do the Black Super Friends and everything else, but I might catch it a day later. And I put it on my story and I try to share it as well from IG. But it's amazing that a lot of times, right when we get to our promises, most of the time we want to wave the white flag or forget because we feel the magnitude of the weight on us. We feel what I would call glory, and glory is weighty, right? It's weight. And so, right when you're facing glory, right when you're at the glory, you feel that weight and that pressure to want to say, you know what, I've had enough. Let me wave the white flag and let me go the other way. Um, but I think that you've come into a vein where you begin to understand your purpose. Not just your purpose, but you understand your identity and who you are. The one thing that I love about you is that you are fully confident in who you are. And a lot of times, if you don't know who you are, somebody else will tell you who you are. And most of the time, if somebody else has to tell you who you are, it's going to be a watered down version of who God made you, who He intended you to be. But you're confident in who you are. And so I can appreciate that because a lot of men are in a place where they just don't know who they are. I mean, they have an idea of who they want to be, but not who they are. But when I sat down and I really looked at it, and I sat and I prayed, and you shot me out and you say, hey, let's do this thing, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, 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 cool. It immediately took me back to the story of Joseph in the Bible. I got to bring some Bible in somewhere. Joseph, started off being a young dude, got thrown in the pit, sold off to slavery by his brothers, and he goes through this process where he gets thrown in prison. And when he gets thrown in prison, Pharaoh has two people on his guard that's in the prison. He has a baker and he has a butler in there. And without getting into the story, I just want to say that in short, when I think about that story and I think about you, I think about life in general. We all as a people need a baker and a butler in our life. What do I mean by that? Okay. So a butler is somebody who opens up the door for you. And a baker is somebody who puts things together. And so most of us are trying to get to different places and we're trying to achieve greatness on our own. But we all know in a world like this, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And so it was because of one of these gentlemen that went back to tell the king, yo, I know somebody who can interpret your dream. He told me this. I forgot about it. He told me this thing 2 years ago, but it came to pass. You bought me up out of the prison. Blah, 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 blah. Pharaoh said, man, where's this young dude at? And Pharaoh brings him out of the prison. And of course, that's history. He interprets Pharaoh's dream. He becomes second in charge over all the nation of Egypt and all of the world. He's the second most powerful man in the world. So much so, now the same brothers that sold him into slavery, they come back and they say, we don't know who you are. He plays a game with them and say, man, look, y'all trying to steal my stuff. But he was just trying to see his brother and his father again. But they were afraid for their lives, right? Now he's the second most powerful man in all of the world. And here it is. He's not talking in the native Hebrew tongue. He's talking in Egyptian. So he's acting like he doesn't understand them and they don't understand him for sure. But he understands them the whole while. But after, they come to know each other, they say, man, look, man, we sorry for treating you like that. We sorry for mishandling you like that. And he turns around and it's in Genesis 50. He said, man, look, you meant it for evil. But God turned this thing and worked it out for my good. So in short, you know what I mean? You're that dude. You are the baker and the butler. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody needs them a Horace Towns in their life. That's basically what I wanted to tell you.
Listen, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I was just telling somebody earlier how big and men affirmations is. I think that's the word I'm looking at, affirmation, right? So, and somebody else taught me, like, it takes a man, no matter me saying, feeling like I had some gifts or felt like I had some talent, bro, I remember Javon White one day set me down. As much as I pour into him, he's like, bro, listen, you got this. You can do this, da-da-da. And for him doing that, bro, it made me put my chest out a little more. Because, okay, I'm certified. Same thing with you.
Yeah.
I heard a conversation that I wanted to have, and I'll have a conversation with you, and you break it down. You're going to give me a good talk. You're going to give me that scripture. And, bro, like, for somebody to say, man, hey, keep doing what you're doing, especially with men, I don't think we had that conversation enough. You know what I mean? That affirmation from a man to another man. I know when I had issues with my dad, no matter how much I felt about him, I still was trying to get his respect, trying to get the affirmation from him.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, we all need a baker and a butler. And a lot of us, and I'm not saying that we should look for people or proposition people for opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? God will divinely and providentially put these people in your life for them to be a blessing to you. The issue is a lot of us don't know how to discern who God sent and who the enemy sent. Because when God wants to bless you, somebody in your life. And when the enemy wants to take you out, he'll send somebody in your life. The issue is a lot of us don't know how to discern either or.
Man, now that might be the best piece I've heard so far. That is it. That is it. Bro, because sometimes you'll just give that's what you do in your video. You get that nugget and be like, dang, so simple, but it'd be so impactful. That's what I love about the IG moment.
Man, I love it, man. I appreciate your support. It's just that when the Lord hit me and say, hey man, go share this with the people, I might, most of the time it's in the car, when I'm riding, I'm doing something, or I might be walking somewhere and he'll say, hey, tell the people, and it's God inspired. It's not me trying to get attention or anything else, man. I've been running it for about a year straight now, and it's grown and it's doing pretty well.
It's doing really well. It's doing really well. Let me ask you something. I only had two things for you tonight. Ego.
Okay.
Ego is everything to a man. There are a lot of jokers in prison right now wishing that they didn't give their ego so much power. And I think as a man, our ego is probably 90% responsible for a lot of stuff that we do, the way we act, the way we respond to things, the way we view things. Our ego gets us into fights. Our ego gets us killed. Our ego makes us cheat. Our ego affects the way we love someone else. I can do a whole list of ego attributed things. And it's amazing that I heard a quote one day say, the ego must die. And I never really understood that until I got in a relationship. Like, at some point, that ego had to die. But I can go a lot of places with the conversation of ego. But I ask you, like, what does the Bible say about ego? Because as men, that one thing, bro, gets us in so much trouble, or it rules us for a long time.
Absolutely. So a lot of people wouldn't understand this, but ego is directly tied to pride, right?
Mhm.
You know, some of us, we say, oh, it's a such thing as good pride and it's a such thing as bad pride. But we know that, pride and ego is definitely correlated, right? Uh, the enemy's ego, at the time, his name was Lucifer. His ego made him say, I'll be like the most high God.
Mm.
That was ego. So when you read the Bible, though, you understand that it was the spirit of pride, which was his ego, that got him kicked out of heaven. So now, right, there's a such thing in the Bible called the law of first mention. And so when you see something that happens in the Bible, you're supposed to follow it all the way through from Genesis to Revelation. This is the doctrine. This is the way that it flows from Genesis to Revelation. And so we see the enemy raises up in pride, but then you continue in the Bible and you'll see that God says, if you want to go up, you got to first go down. Let me give you Bible. It says that he who humbles himself will be exalted, and he who exalts himself will be humble. So a lot of us, our ego actually gets in the way of us in an authentic relationship with God. Pride, I connect it to pride, and so we understand that our pride, because we all have some pride, win the game. No, 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 no. When we talk about pride, though, that it's a spirit. I don't want to get into the depth of it on tonight. Maybe we could do a part 2 on this, but it's definitely a spirit that has brought a lot of men and women down, but it also is a spirit that keeps distance between you and God. Because the Bible is clear when it talks about God hates pride. He hates pride. So in order to go up with God, I got to first go down. And I can't go down as long as my ego is here. We have to eliminate ego and say that it's all about him first and not me. When it's about me, that's ego. When I do my ego, I'm putting me first and not God. Ego will get you in trouble all the time, like you said, in relationships, whether they're intimate relationships, friendships. A lot of us, we don't put our egos to the side to come together. Us as a people, our egos a lot of time keeps us separated, right? Because we feel like we know more than the next guy, or that guy feels like he knows more than me. And so instead of us bringing our superpowers together, so to speak, we stay on two different corners, and hence we are weaker rather than stronger in that sense.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because let me give you some examples of ego. And I wish if we taught that more. That's one thing I love about you. I love about Miles Monroe. I love about TD Jakes, because a lot of their sermons, there are a lot of sermons where they go at men. Like, hey, this is for the
Yeah.
men. I love that. I always wanted to go to, I think it was called Manpower in Dallas. TD Jakes will have annually. I just thought that was so big when I was seeking, just like I want to get outside and understand some things. And when I mentored some young men, I was telling them, like, the ego is gonna get you in trouble, and I had to try to break it down, bro. Dude robbed you, or you got into a situation, and people boosting you up. You respond off your ego and pride, which you say is tied together. But after you kill this person, you get into a situation. Yeah, everybody's satisfied, but you bear the consequences. Like, nobody ever talks about the shooter. You know, after you go back to that shooter who's committed a crime and interview him in jail and ask him, is it really worth it? Look at
Right.
a situation with, I always say this, I said this on the show, which is controversial. Hey, a man, they say, well, if a woman cheat on a man will leave. I said, no. I said, let me give you a disclaimer to that. Most times that does happen and a man will stay. What makes a man leave is if other people find out about it, because now his pride and ego is damaged. So that ego has some layers to it. And I just know that those are a lot of things I did off ego. And now I'm just so mellow. And I can't explain where that mellow came from, but that ego was something I just wish we touched on more as leaders or mentors,
So
pastors.
Check this out. We talking about this ego, and we can insert pride for the word ego. Check this out. I wrote this down, and I was sitting there meditating about it because, again, pride is something that God, he abhors it. He hates it, right? But check this out. What pride does is it tricks yourself into believing that the rest of the world revolves around you. That's the first thing, right? So you can insert ego where I say pride, right? So I'm going to say it again. Pride tricks you into believing that the rest of the world revolves around you, right? Pride is just another way to say I rely on self rather than God. You can insert ego there. Pride comes before the fall, right? This is number 3. Pride comes before the fall. Pride convinces itself the fall won't kill. I can stop right there, but I'm going to give you 2 more, right? Pride and humility are constantly at odds. Ego and humility are always at odds. And you have to always remember that pride must die in you, or nothing in heaven can live in you. That's it. Simple. It's simple.
That sounds simple. I know a lot of times, bro, I was this close to jail because feeling like somebody tried me. And you know how it is. Like, boy, that joker tried, I can't sleep.
In one of those things, though, you can insert the word ego because it's the same thing, right? The most powerful thing out of all of that, though, was in order for heaven to live in you, pride has to die in you. But as long as pride or ego is alive in you, ain't nothing in heaven that's going to exist in you. Period. Okay. Well, I'll put my period.
Yeah, listen. I told you it was short this week. I didn't have a lot for you, man. I that was something that was on me because I seen a situation where these young men were going back and forth. A lot of the crime is going back and forth because of personal beefs, but it's really people boosting them up. Oh, he did that. Oh, nah, bro, you gotta go get him. And I'm like, man, I wish somebody could like grab y'all guys for just a little minute and understand like nobody wins in this situation. And the people hyping you up, they're gonna be good after you go to jail or one of y'all go to a box, man. And that's probably what disturbs me the most, man.
Yeah, so that's all man, look, I enjoyed it. Whoever's listening, do us all a favor, like, share, comment, get the word out. Talked about basically bakers and butlers, and we talked about ego and or pride, and this will bless your life, especially as we get ready for the holiday season. We understand that it's not about you, your ego, it's all about others, right? God, Bible says it's better to serve, right, than to be served. You know what I'm saying? So he who humbles himself will be exalted. And so as always, I already gave you my Car Chronicles with the pride thing, so don't give up, keep looking up. God divine hookup.
All right. Hey, whatever you celebrate tomorrow, celebrate family. Make sure you love on the people because next Thanksgiving might not be there. It's arrogant to think that you got tomorrow. So enjoy today and love people anyway. So thank y'all for joining us. While we go live, we usually do these segments and break them out. But thank y'all for allowing us to come into your homes and your cell phones this evening. See y'all next week. Thank you.